car on the pole on the opening ramp of this hybrid era. What does he do here? Does he send it down the inside? It's very bumpy there, easy to lock up. He's going to try and pull the draft here from Bortolotti around the high banks.
Look how close that Acura is to the Lamborghini. Now Blomqvist to the inside, down on the, my goodness, down on the apron, and there was almost a crash.
Bortolotti didn't want to give him that inside lane, and Tom was committed. He knows he's got a good lap going here, but his line into the chicane is going to be compromised as well. This could hurt his potential to hold on to that pole position.
This isn't racing, this is qualifying.
Vanthora's on a flyer. Overall best first sector, personal best sector 2. Can BMW steal it away with Blomqvist being balked a little bit here on his final lap?
Time is up. Flying laps count.
Bruni's on a flyer. Can he pull a surprise?
And that was
JDC.
That was it for Blomqvist. The run to the line. And Dries Vanthoor. Nick Yellowly to the top, then Vanthoor to the top. It literally changed by the second. Jimmy Bruni, P3. Blomqvist plummets from pole to fourth. Vanthoor on top. Yellowly, then Jack Aitken leapfrogs his way there.
D cars and then the speed of the GT cars. You come from GT racing, so you have experience on both sides of it. How does that help you?
I mean, at the end, it's a different view now, because before I was the one being lapped. Now I'm the one that I'm overtaking the GT. So for sure it's a different point of view, but I did last year WEC, so I've already quite experience with the car, and it's interesting in both ways. I mean, it's very nice if you're in GT or in a GTP car.
Dries Vanthoor behind the wheel now. I know you need to get some rest before your next stint. Great job out there. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Jamie, for that CrowdStrike pit lane report, and thanks to Raffaele Mocciello for hanging by for that while we digested what is a pretty large accident coming out of turn 1 into turn 2. Looked to me, not 100% certain, but looked to me like Louis Delatraz spun on his own and then crashed into the barrier on the right-hand side. That unsided the 73 Pratt Miller LMP2, and then it was kind of all arms and elbows from there. Looks like the 48 Paul Miller BMW maybe got away with it. In fact, no, there was contact. There was contact between the 93 Acura, Ryan. Would you agree on that?
From the tails away shot, we were just looking at it's close. It's hard to tell. But the problem was that the 40 went veering off track and then spun right back on, right into the path of really most of the LMP2.
Bathurst has been called for blocking, and that will be a drive-through. Well, there's a talking point right there. There's many ways that you can block, and Bathurst does it again. This time, now that time he did move towards the apex. I was about to say, it's not as if he's been weaving around under braking, but that time he left the door open and then closed it. Again, right in the middle of the road as they come to the International Horseshoe. There's contact between the number 1 car and the Corvette, so that's the end. And Tommy Milner just saying, look, I'm in first position here, you should have given way.
82 kilometers later.
5,000 pounds, but it doesn't feel like a 5,000 pound car. It's nimble, it's quick, it's really a lot of fun to drive. And the thing I love about an electric car, when you get on the throttle, it's instant. There's no delay, and so it's really fun to be able to drive that kind of car.
Bit of hip and shoulder in the GTT Pro category between BMW and Corvette. That is not the way to go endurance racing. That is the battle for the lead. Conor De Filippi and Tommy Milner.
Oh no!
Stephen Grove in the
flags.
AMG GT3. A little bit of fire under the left front as well, where something's caught, something hot, and that is just starting to lick a flame there behind the left front Pirelli, and that's up at the top of the mountain, well, just over the top of the mountain, actually, Garth.
Over Skyline, the run through the S's down to the dipper, and you can see that fire that's on the exhaust. So something is touching the exhaust that shouldn't be, but heavy contact. And sounds expensive.
That was just the door opening as well.
Now the car's rolling, so...
Not anymore, it's in the wall.
No, it's in against the wall. I reckon that corner was already needing replacing anyway, but real shame for this team. They're running the strategy with getting Stephen Grove the bronze, and he looks a bit ginger, so it's been heavy contact for Stephen Grove at the top of the mountain. And how has he ended up there?
That car's been on the ground. There's witness marks on the tarmac. That's been on the ground. And where's further back?
This is it, looking out the back of Stephen Grove's AMG Mercedes and Kenny Abul. Up the inside.
I mean, that's as near as far as gone to going over the wall there that has ever happened.
A fair bit of shock, I think, in the cockpit there.
You get winded,
Grove,
don't you?
I think you can see it's taken the wind out of Steve. So.
This isn't the scenario that I think I would want if I was a teammate, you know, with being door to door with my teammate Hamlin and Bell for this front.
He gets Bell into the wall.
Off of the front bumper,
Custer, and up in the air goes Ryan Preece, and for the second time in his career, he is flipping at Daytona. Good grief.
Off the front bumper, we were talking about a lap before. Custer got to his bumper, that thing went side to side, and he couldn't hold on to it. It was one too many.
Ryan Preece, a couple of years ago here, flipped down the backstretch after getting caught in the grass. There is Christopher Bell with the window net down.
Here it gets crossed up. Rest is history. There it goes. Now watch the 60 car, Preece. Bam!
Yeah, you saw the...
Gets up on the... That's wild. I've never seen a car do that. That shows how fast they go.
And they pile up behind him. This is from Eric Jones. Oh.
You think these guys aren't tough?
A devastating crash for Ryan Preece. An incredible camera work by our Fox crew.
I am so glad to see that window net down and him be able to get out of that thing. Whew, that's scary.
It's unbelievable what it looks like when these cars get caught by the air like that. And I'm with you, Clint. I've never seen one take off with a wheelie like that. But they just flip around like they don't weigh 3,600 pounds.
Well, nothing weighs that much at 186 mile an hour.
Saw the airbox just blow away. The right front tucked up underneath the A-post there.
Car did its job, though.
And he walked away.
So many safety enhancements in these race cars.
So that will likely send us to overtime. It happens on lap 196.
Who's left?
Unbelievable.
We saw the side of that car face the wind, and the roof flaps had not yet come up, and that creates that pressure differential between air over the car and under the car that sends it tumbling.
Well, just like we said, though, I've never seen a car wheelie like that. The roof flaps won't work.
Yep.
Whew. I've been there. That's a bad feeling. Did you hear how quiet it got?
You see him tuck his extensions on the Hans bottoms out. You go backwards, slap your head against the back of the seat, and it happens so quick inside the car that you can't control your head. See the back of that car up into the wall. I'm glad it flipped over the right direction to hit the wall with the back, at least not be upside down. See the airbox floating in the air right there. Unbelievable shots, Mike.
Amazing camera work, but
that's the best one.
what Ryan Preece has been through.
Here we go. Gabriele Mini came through pit lane, and he's fighting with another driver who came through pit lane. Through the smoke, someone had a big look up, and Gabriele Mini's going to do a big move. Round the outside at turn 11. On board we go through turn 12. Can he hold it? Gabriele, oh, we're 3 wide through there. Contact, surely this will end in tears. Somehow it didn't, and Gabriele Mini there was 3 wide with Crawford and Goethe, I believe, in Goethe.
It's a European GT4, great car control. I think Lariche ran wide to use a track limit up previously, and it was a wise move. I think Van der Ende is up to 3rd. Is that a problem for that car? Now let's go back to this lead battle. David all over the outside. They're going to go side by side here, be looking for the cutback, trying to get to the inside, which he does. Great move, slight side-to-side contact, still going to be sideways all the way out this corner. They touch again.
And the Audi just comes out ahead, so to the inside line, hopefully we'll dive Hadrian David now, because Lariche covers it off. Outside line there. It's going to be one last roll of the dice. One more corner to go. They're side by side into the braking zone. Hadrian David on the outside gets the undercut. Does he coming off the corner? It's going to be a sprint to the line then as they accelerate, almost overlapping up towards the timing line. It's going to be a virtual dead heat between the two. I reckon the Audi is just ahead. And as they come across the timing line, the result is a win for Benjamin Lariche by 76 thousandths of a second. Brilliant stuff. What a race.
Hendrick still leading. Pro-Am still got Victor Boving right on the back. Huge slide into a spin from Kumar. Does well to get out of the way of these two. Does that help Boving? There's going to be another drag race to the line for the Pro-Am win.
Hendrick Still versus Victor Boving. Overlap as they come to the line. The BMW looks like it might just be ahead. We wait for the timekeepers to adjudicate. Porsche takes it by 2 thousandths of a second. Hendrick Still wins Pro-Am by 2 thousandths of a second. That is nuts, isn't it?
European GT4 drag racing there, wasn't it?
Yeah, on the 51. Duval putting a lot of pressure there on Giovinazzi. And there's a GT car in between them as they head through a Rouge. That's heavily compromised. Robin Freins there, look at that. And now the Ferrari, all of them, is going to be right under attack here. The Ferrari goes to the outside, and oh, the Peugeot's got the momentum, goes through the middle. This is amazing.
This is phenomenal stuff from Loic Duval. I thought he was going to follow the Ferrari because the double toe would help him, but he had more speed even than...
4 big brake zones. One at the top of the hill, coming into the corkscrew. Is he close enough? I don't believe he is.
Persing pulled a gap. He did what he needed to do.
But Nick Persing kind of ran a blocking line in, and that line in cost him time. He wanted to defend, but in defending, he lost a little time. This is it. Right now, this corner, this brake zone. What does Vermal have? Persing with the block. It's going to be a drag race to the line, over, under. Vermal picks up the throttle, side by side, coming to the line at Laguna. Who will take it? Nick Persing with the win in race number 2.
Let's have a look at this from the trackside view. Big speed. He rolls around the barrier and is lucky to finish the right way up. That shows you how close the walls are, and a massively violent impact.
Holy smokes. Yeah, big crash there. And it looks to me, Julian, as if he got aggressive, more aggressive than we've seen from many cars on that left-hand part, turn 5 on the curb, and the barriers and the catch fencing doing a fantastic job to stop what is a very high speed, weighty mass. And thankfully, Marshall's...
Thanks, Pato. Big crash. That's Kiffin Simpson out of turn 4 and rolling back into pit lane. Big crash for the Ganassi driver.
Yeah, I'm okay, but man, that was loose.
Most important thing, Kiffin on the radio right away, telling the crew that he is okay.
AMR safety team immediately on the scene. Stick with it when it's loose. Bad things can happen as we take a look for the first time.
Oh, there it is.
Exact same wiggle that Palou had in turn 3.
And then the rear is just gone, and he's, oh, wow, that is big. Lucky boy.
Ride for Kiffin Simpson.
Lucky boy.
Car came back down, thankfully. There are holes in the floors to try to prevent the cars from going airborne and flipping over. You saw it go up. It should have, by physics, you would have thought that car was going over, but the advancements that IndyCar's made on the floors of these cars definitely came into play there. You see those holes there just behind the front wheels.
And importantly, keeping the car low and not just upright, but not allowing it to fly too high. But that is a massive hit.
Safer barrier doing its job phenomenally. So too the Dallara chassis.
But that nervous little twitch was exactly what Pelot had, and it was tiny.
But it was such a little moment. And then as soon as you catch it, the rear is going away from you.
Because it's in sort of a tank slapper oscillation, and the more mass with the hybrid at the back of the car, that used to be a catchable moment. And now it's a wiggle and then a second response, uncatchable.
It's one of those things very reminiscent to Marcus Ericsson's crash there last year, where I think in that
flag starts his run, Colton Herta for Andretti.
And for you regular IndyCar fans,
oh, spin it in the wall. That's huge for Colton Herta. Upside down and dragging down the track. That's a big impact. That is a huge impact for Colton Herta here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Terrifying crash for Colton there. We've seen issues there before. We saw it this morning in practice with Armstrong. Turn 1, so difficult. The highest speeds these drivers experience all year long. The AMR safety team, as always, very quick to the scene.
He's had crashes similar to that in turn 1 before in the race and in practice. We understand that he's moving around in the cockpit. What the AMR safety team first will do is evaluate Herta in the cockpit and then immediately watch.
I mean, that looked different even from Armstrong. Armstrong had the moment, caught it, and came around. Colton's just went around very quickly.
He didn't look like he had a chance.
By the time he knew it was loose, he was already sideways, and not much you can do. These Indy cars are designed to have a lot of grip and a lot of downforce when they are pointing forwards, but as soon as you get any yaw, any slip in that car, the downforce peels off, the grip disappears almost exponentially with every degree of rotation past a certain point, and at that point the driver's just along for the ride.
And as he scrapes down the track, we're reminded again of the safety improvements of this Dallara chassis in particular. I refer to the aero screen. If you're new to IndyCar, if you watch Formula One, they have the halo. This essentially is a halo, but with a screen around it. It can hold the weight of a London bus on top of it.
It just happened so fast.
Second impact destroying the camera on the top of the roll hoop, but then it comes back miraculously.
Oh! Scott McLaughlin in the wall. Big accident down off of turn 2.
That's a huge moment for Scott McLaughlin, last year's pole sitter here at the Indy 500.
Wow. Looked like a massive impact when we went straight to the cockpit shot there for Scott McLaughlin. Should be just a few moments, and AMR safety team will be right there as McLaughlin, thankfully, is taking his headrest off and placing it on his own, under his own power.
Let's take a look at what happened. Through turn 2, just got loose.
Stayed after the power for a while as he got backwards to try to do what he could to spin the car around and ideally keep it off the wall. But guys, the left rear just pogoed. It's still in the air. It hasn't landed yet. There it is.
Wow.
That is a yard sale of an accident. Debris everywhere.
And this is what we were talking about at the top of the show with what happened with Marcus Armstrong yesterday. When you're pushing the limits and trying to get the feel that you do when everything really is on the line.
Hey, Ryan, you and I have both been through this kind of sequence on an oval. Describe what McLaughlin is experiencing here.
I mean, this is one of those deals, you guys were talking about it yesterday, where the feeling within an IndyCar especially, going that fast, it's micro inputs, and the sensation of rotation into the corner. There's such a fine line between the car being dialed in positive on the nose to it just keeps rotating, and you're just a passenger. And there's not a whole lot you can do with it. There's such a fine line.
Let's listen here. I'm not quite ready for that hit. Here it is.
When you watch it in real speed, it's it takes your breath away just watching it. And guys, the thing that we'd be remiss without saying at this point, right before this happened, Scott McLaughlin did go P1.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Sound of the impact. He did a 233.5, 0.8 of a mile an hour faster than the next best lap. Car sliding to a stop.
It's weak. He is going for it. He will going for it. And just keep a look at that throttle trace, because I guarantee he won't lift unless he absolutely has to. Robert Schwartzman, the rookie sensation, on his first lap here for the brand new Team Prema.
Hands looked pretty decisive on turn-in. Those red gloves popping behind the windscreen. And Schwartzman took control of his car and just forced it to the apex.
Car just tickled 238 entering turn 1. I saw just the tiniest little breathe on the throttle in 3, but absolutely committed. Look, the worst he can start in his first 500 is 6th.
And at the moment, he's tracking ahead of Takuma Sato. Down into turn 1, into turn 2. It is another first lap in the 2:33s for Robert Schwartzman. This guy is rapid.
Now it's youthful exuberance and maybe rookie ignorance versus veteran experience. Managing this pace over 4 laps is not an easy thing to do. He's got 1.5 down. Can he maintain this pace?
The timing stand reminding the rookie, use the tools, use the roll bar, the weight jacker to fine-tune the balance. Stay on top of it.
There hasn't been a rookie on pole at the Indianapolis 500 in 42 years, but Schwartzman will not relent. It's 232.9 for the second lap. That's a 233.0 average.
A tiny lift, James. We both saw it on the throttle, but he is answering the question that you asked earlier. What will he do? And he is answering it with total conviction. It is absolute commitment, laying it all out there.
You just look at Takuma Sato looking on helplessly. Nothing he can do. The white flag waves. Lap 3. 2:32.2. The average is still good enough. 2.5 miles left for Robert Schwartzman.
And he still has all of his hybrid to use. When does he start to use it? That is the question. Can he hang on? Can he make the time? Can he defeat Sato for the provisional pole?
Will, you said he was brave and had brains, and he is very smart. He used just half of it coming into the back straight. He'll use the final half coming to the front straight. This could be the difference.
Through turn 4 for Robert Schwartzman, the rookie at the Indianapolis 500, down to the yard of bricks and over the line. It's P1 for Robert Schwartzman, and the crowd salute a new hero.
All right, now welcome to the front row.
House wins.
Indeed. Still, Tim Scherbach leads Cup 2, but how busy is the fight for second position? Julian Andlauer has entirely been caught. I mean, this could be Monday morning on the M25, except it's being done at about 150, 160 miles an hour, maybe slightly more than that.
Already?
Grello, has it just been swallowed up?
Yes, I think so.
So Andlauer now leads. Very difficult to tell from this particular angle, but Frank Schnippler's moved it. Yep, you're right. So Andlauer in the Falcon car leading from Frank Schnippler's black and gold Audi, then the 16 car of Laurens Vanthoor.
But
Andlauer in the wall.
Through 4, they're coming to the white flag. Will it be a first-time winner in Palou, or will Ericsson get redemption from 2023?
White flag is out for the driver from Barcelona, Spain, Alex Palou.
could be on for his first oval and his first Indy 500 as he comes off turn 2.
Little slide out of 2. He moves to break the toe from Marcus Ericsson. Ericsson has it all now in his hands. It is now or never for Marcus Ericsson. But Palou has the lead. Palou has the advantage. He told us coming into this weekend, if I don't win the Indy 500 in my career, it will be a career unfulfilled. He had, and the caution is out. Caution is out. Palou will win for validation, vindication for Alex Palou. He has won the Indianapolis 500.
Race makes her way towards the front, and it is a safety car.
Yeah, Kelsey Breeze. Here's our GT3 field. Anton McIntosh did not start the race for Racing Spirit of Le Mans.
And there's trouble there for the 21 car. Has been involved in that.
Yeah, 21 is another of the AF
Forgioni's car.
Yes, it is.
And the biogas car with its second problem. So that, I think, is a knock-on effect of the argy-bargy at the front of the field. Oh. Yeah. Not very happy, I think is the international sign language there.
Yes, I'm sensing he feels that may not have been entirely his fault. So
just missed him, must have cast a shadow on his front splitter. It was a remarkably close shave.
Ran over his toes, I think. Now, what happened further back? There's contact there. The biogas car just
collected him.
But the problem is, everybody is checking up there. Everybody is checking up because of the spinning Porsche. And he spun because he's checking up because the cars in front are slowing down dramatically because of the LMP3 cars.
It's not giving.
Just keep it clean. And for Kubica, who has been in for Anthony Davidson, how many laps now? 50 laps plus. This is an epic end to the race. His two teammates, Yifei, we saw all of last season how good he can be behind the wheel of this hypercar, and this year Phil Hansen has absolutely graduated Magnum cum laude. He's been a star in the race, he's been a star in the season, and the AF Corsa team are waiting. Headlights flashing on the 20 BMW, that is running. The number 15 car has been pushed back out again. It won't be the top step of the podium for Porsche. It won't be any disgrace, though, for the crew of the number 6, two of whom are our reigning drivers' champions. And into the Porsche curves for the final time. They are waiting. 350,000 fans are waiting. Millions worldwide are waiting. For the third year in a row, the prancing horse will top the podium at Le Mans. 51 broke a long drought in 2023. 51 last year, and the 83 AF Corsa Ferrari wins Le Mans 2025. What a story, and what a final 2 hours plus from Robert Kubica. 15 seconds at the line ahead of Kevin Est's Porsche, and the two Ferrari teammates, 51 and 50, will follow him through. We have the LM GT3 leader coming to the line. And there are the 51 and 50 cars as victory in LMGT3 goes to Manthey first form, Porsche number 92, and Richard Leeds for the second time in 3 years, the second time in 2 years, brings the car across the line. And Ryan Hardwick, who was thrilled beyond measure to win last time out, I have no idea how he's going to feel now. Still waiting for Nick Yellerly in Indy.
Oh, huge accident. Joseph Newgarden upside down on the front straight.
Absolutely massive. Joseph Newgarden is upside down on the straight.
The Armour safety team jumps immediately over the wall to talk to the driver.
We're hearing he's radioed in and is okay.
It was going picture perfect for Joseph Newgarden. Now an absolute nightmare scenario as all the cars on the front straight trying to navigate the minefield of carbon fiber and debris. I imagine they might come through pit lane.
That is right at start finish.
Right ahead of our commentary to every NTT IndyCar Series race. Always on the scene, an incredibly quick time, always impeccable in their work.
And unfortunately for Louis Foster, these are 2 big hits in back-to-back races. He had a massive impact at Detroit, and there's Newgarden climbing out.
Great to see both drivers out of the car, but that is your race leader. And Louis Foster, who was on for a great result in 10th as well. The crowd showed their appreciation and relief.
His first short oval. Oh no, so he got up into the marbles, into that spent rubber on his own, damaged the car, and you're just a passenger as a driver at that moment.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
And Joseph absolutely nowhere to go. Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
I've never seen anything like that on a short oval.
Not at all. God, he could have easily cleared the pit wall and ended up crashing down pit lane. And there you see not only the roll bar, but the aero screen halo device protecting Newgarden as the shower of sparks is flooding the cockpit.
A nice big gap between the driver's helmet, and you see the right rear of Foster's was so broken he had no control of that car. And Joseph just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But I'm reminded again of the safety of these cars. That is a T-bone impact, which is one of the worst impacts that you can see on a racetrack. How much of that nose is left intact on Joseph's car? How much of the rear of Louis Foster's car remains intact as well, showing once again the strength of these Dallara chassis. And look at that, as the sparks come off, you see the strength of that halo and that aero screen.
Let's take a look on board.
Oh, that is a terrifying view from Joseph Newgarden. You're on an oval, you're doing over 170 miles an hour, and there's a car broadside in front of you.
And you know what? The green light was on for a very long time after Foster made contact.
Yeah, the yellow should
5 or 6 seconds.
Oh, wow.
And Newgarden would have no idea.
Well, he would have seen him, but still, it's...
Yeah, but you're not looking. He's looking to make a move.
Still green.
Yeah.
How was the yellow not called sooner?
Well, it's a system that relies on spotters
and there is number 98 BMW, which has got a penalty anyway. So they have switched on the pit stop. Shows you with a clear track space what the Ferrari was capable of. But the BMW is already up to speed. Pierre Guidi goes defensive onto the grass. Goes Marciello. Pierre Guidi doesn't want to give up the place. That was very robust indeed by Alessandro Pierre.
This is Sebastian Murray in the 2 car for Andretti Cape against Ganassi's Bryce Air, and that's just like IndyCar, Andretti versus Ganassi, and here comes Escoto, there's contact, and there's a massive crash. Oh, a frightening crash with Murray and Escoto.
Why?
Well, at least we hear one driver is okay.
Yeah, that's super disappointing, but happy to see that everyone's okay there for sure.
Heading through the kink towards turn 4, fastest portion of this racetrack.
I gotta say, to me, Murray there is in the draft. He's trying to stay in that slipstream the best he can, because at that point, that's his best defense. It doesn't look like there's any malice there. It doesn't seem like they've either, just turned into each other or anything like that. Unfortunately, they've just come together in that kink and unfortunately, this is the reality of motorsport when you are pushing that close and go from, you know, inches to millimeters.
Miles Rowe has to weave his way.
Quite that tight to him in a corner like that? Probably not. It's just racing. And at that point, he's just trying to get the draft. He's trying to make a move. For as huge an impact as it was for both drivers, I think you just chalk that up to a racing incident.
He's been locking up a lot of corners I see on the TV, so he probably just got a flat spot on the left front.
Broke his Hans device, it bent the steering wheel, but he's back out there on the racetrack today. We were talking with him earlier. He's very sore because it was his chest that helped bend that steering wheel.
Those guys who hadn't stopped. So it was traffic. They're coming up to the brow of the hill. 3 cars wide. It was the 2. It was the Baker car and the 33 of Mark Turner Motorsport BMW number 95. They were just trying to pass them at the time. The Baker car going airborne for a moment, and then Robin Liddell was coming through and found the track
here because here comes Jordan Pepper fully alongside him, and I urge Guan for company as well. Pepper back into the lead of the race. He's on the outside though. Priding's on the inside. Contact between them. Guan's going to get the lead. Guan goes through from third to first in the bright green Porsche. Shoved off onto the curves of the grass is Priding. Second stays the Jordan Pepper Lamborghini.
Inside, but Rossi still gunning for Joseph Newgarden ahead. And here comes Rasmussen. Rasmussen around the outside of O'Ward. It's now ECR 4-5. Rossi looking at the back of Newgarden. Rasmussen looking at the back of Rossi. And the McLarens have dropped from their advantageous position. And it is advantage ECR. And here comes Rasmussen.
Rasmussen with some help from the draft off of Newgarden. But this guy, Rasmussen, has been on fire the last 3 laps.
Ed Carpenter, the owner of both these machines, looking on nervously, anxiously, but also happy to see them running up front.
And there is Newgarden. Rasmussen will not be contained. Rasmussen will not be held back. Rasmussen going for Joseph Newgarden around the outside. Vanishing point ahead, up and on the inside now of Newgarden. Rasmussen is doing a blinding job. Stunning.
He just dumped the king of the short ovals. Joseph Newgarden now gets passed by Rossi, but Rasmussen.
They've touched, and I don't know if that means that he's got. He's on the limiter.
He's geared too short for that draft.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Around the outside and another position.
Let's go.
That is second. Let's go is the call. Let's go after Alex Palou and take this victory. Rasmussen's on fire.
You've got to love Packy Wheeler, the spotter, saying, hey, it's going to be all about timing. Rasmussen's like, whatever, dude.
And now there's no one between them. That's the number down there you want to look at. 1.7 seconds and falling with 20 laps to go. Razzle dazzle making it work, and he is chasing down Palou.
The gap is 1.7. What will it be over the line? We look out of our window.
And I look at laps to go, 20 up there. Alex Palou will likely catch lap traffic in another 3 or 4 laps. Christian Rasmussen can just kind of slowly close the gap and wait for an opportunity as the coaching continues.
For what would be the lead, for what could be victory, for the very first time in this championship. He's right with him. He's going to have to go the long way around. Rasmussen keeps it stuck in. Rasmussen is gutsy. Rasmussen is brave. Palou hangs on. They run high. And Rasmussen has the lead.
Holy cow, what a pass.
Clear.
Magnificent. Utterly spellbinding.
That was one of the gutsiest moves I've seen since Joseph Newgarden went to the high side to win the Indy 500. That was impressive.
Cars, and he had to do all of his work on the racetrack.
Coming into this weekend, there was a feeling that we could have a first-time winner. And it's going to be one of the most electrifying drivers that we have in the NTT IndyCar Series. He's a USF 2000 champion. He's an Indy Pro 2000 champion, an Indy Next champion. And with one corner to go, Christian Rasmussen is now an IndyCar race winner. Sensational. Bravo.
Bravo! "25 years old.
Yeah, you just won it, brother. Let's go. Good job, boys. Awesome. Awesome. Wow. What a race.
The crowd are on their feet as they salute a new IndyCar hero. And you gotta say, guys, it's felt like this has been coming for some time. What an exciting driver we have on our hands. The 25-year-old from Copenhagen, Denmark, wins!
Look at the line chasing here. Larson tried to defend. Wow, they almost come together into 3. Briscoe right up against the fence. Wallace has the inside line. Contact. Caution is out. Oh boy, Zane Smith on his side. And over. As they always are, the AMR safety team, they're super speedy as they communicate with Zane Smith. We will have a replay for you, but to just see what happened. Josh Berry is out of his car. Last week's runner-up was involved in that multi-car incident. Eric Jones, or was it John Hunter Nemechek? Can't quite see from here. Also involved. And there we go, that's a good sign. Zane Smith out of the car, communicating with the AMR safety team, and here's how it went down.
We're under red flag because of this wreck. 42. John Hunter Nemechek just drives into the left rear quarter panel with Zane. Zane climbs the wall, and gets on the left side and just rim rides it all the way around. Not sure I've ever seen that before, Steve.
No, it reminds me of Brad Keselowski decades ago at Fontana in Xfinity cars. The only time I remember, and then when it finally gets perpendicular to the asphalt, it catches in. And I can tell you, those look like slow tumbles, but I guarantee inside the car, those are some very hard hits. Scary situation right there. Driver against the asphalt for a long, long time. The 42 got sent back up for a really hard hit. And then right here, these are very, very tough tumbles against the asphalt. And then that one lands. You know, there's no more air in the tires. It lands right on the frame rail.
We saw an Xfinity wreck like this years ago at Bristol. These are when Nemechek went back across the racetrack.
Robert DeHaan challenging to the outside of Flint Sherring. Is Sherring going to try and take it wide? Sherring very cautious on the brakes. Here goes Alessandro Guaretti alongside Robert DeHaan in towards turn 2. This is for the championship. Guaretti on the outside. All 3 of them come together. Flint Sherring comes off the worst. DeHaan's in front. It's going to be DeHaan who takes the championship if he can hold it together for this last lap. Flint Sherring tried to play his part. He ended up getting...
Hyunjin Guan is about to win the race and become the first ever driver, Turkish driver, to win the DTM Championship. He comes through, he goes through. They're going to get one more lap at this, and just didn't quite squeeze through. So going to get a final lap. They must have crossed the line with about a second left on it. So even more stress. He's got to do it one more time. Goodness me, 4.5 kilometres has never felt so long.
Oh, what an insane finish to the race. So Jordan Pepper also receiving the black flag. The stewards are clearly absolutely certain about the decision they made to do with that overtaking issue. But that's irrelevant for the championship now, because Iron Chang'un into the hairpin. Marco Wittmann is closed up again. One last chance.
Here we go. Defend like you've never defended before. He thought he got it done. He's got to do it again. Marco Wittmann's almost into the back of Iron Chang'un. You're on board now with him. So now he really has got half a lap to go. Oh, he could do without this stress. Marco Wittmann is almost pushing him through turn 7. There's about 2 inches between them. He tries the outside line. Marco Wittmann never ever gives up. He's trying to get up the inside. Iron Chang'un closes the door, goes through that sequence of corners, gets out of turn 11 into the final sector, and now he defends. Here comes Marco Wittmann up the inside of him, and Marco Wittmann, with a few corners to go, gets the lead of the race. And if Lucas Sauer is promoted up to 4th place, it's going to change things. Down the inside goes Iron Chang'un on the grass, back into the lead of the race. He will not give up. He will not yield. He has got to win this race to make sure he wins the championship. Brilliant stuff. What a battle this has been. Through the final corner. This time he's done it, but Marco Wittmann is going to push him all the way to the line. Now he sees the flag. Now he's the champion. Wow. Have you ever seen anything like that?
Whoa.
Oh my goodness. He could have done without that one more lap. We could have all done without that one more lap. I must have crossed the line with about a second to spare. He had to do it all again. And he lost the lead of the race. He lost it. But what grit, what determination. The green car on the green grass to get past the green BMW to win the championship.
First lap to this last lap, the white flag flies, and it always leaves you wondering, is it a pace lap or is it a race lap? With Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup competition, Nathan Nicholson has cleared the field. He brings him out of 2 and down the back straightaway from Bloomington, Indiana, a town that has created some legends in the sport of motorsport. It wasn't easy. Oh, he gets moved up out of the way. Fletcher gets to the front. He hip checks Nicholson out of the way. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Weston Workman at the finish line sends up in second as it's Fletcher scored the race winner. What? Here you go. Jeremy Fletcher starts everything off by moving Nicholson up and out of the way. Nicholson fights back, as you would expect him to do. Fletcher gets caught up in the craziness. That slows his momentum. Weston Workman gets on the loud pedal down on the inside of the front straightaway, and then it's an all-out drag race to the line. And I couldn't call that. That's why we paused here up in the booth, because that's about as close as you could get. But electronic timing and scoring names Jeremy Fletcher, the driver from Florida.
And still right behind the 31 car of Augusto Farfus. And rather hoping these hypercars might hold up Farfus. So far the traffic has broken well for Augusto. But that's what he needs, Honkadea, is for Farfus to have to be on the brakes where he doesn't need to be, and then to allow the Corvette to have a run at him. Unfortunately, he could have been in a bit of a straighter position.
The problem is that turn 7, as it opens up, is just a little bit too quick. It means that you get that turbulence from the car in front and you can't carry the speed you want to. So yeah, he's thinking about the inside of turn 10, goes for it. Oh, there's contact. It was too late. It was a bit too late, but I don't know how they're going to see that one down in the steward's room. But he's flashing him because he feels like Farfus turned in on him, but it was a little bit late, I thought.
Now he's going to have a go again. Farfus stayed on. Honkadea didn't get an advantage.
So he pops it down the inside. Yeah, and Farfus knew what he was doing as well. I think that's why Juncadella flashed the lights at him. Racing incident. It was a dive bomb. It was a late lunge, but Farfus knew what he was doing. That's why he turned in so early. That's not the normal racing line into turn 10.
Danny had a look there inside turn 12. That didn't work, but he's got his finger on the flasher button.
He's saying, basically, stop turning in on me. Yeah. I'm putting my nose in, and you're just turning in purposely early.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's getting quite enough of his car alongside.
You can take the boy out of the touring car. You can't take the touring car out of the boy. Augusto Farfus hanging on from Danny Honkadea. Anthony here now, surely.
It's only a matter of time, isn't it? He's going to try again. Here he goes, looking down the inside, thinks about it. Maybe tries to sell him a bit of a dummy, but Farfus is too wise for that.
Yeah, a little bit of a kiss there off the curb.
And they run up towards turn 4 now. They're so evenly matched in straight line speed. Juncadella knows he's got to do it on the brakes. Can't do it into turn 4 that time around. It's going to be potentially into turn 8 again, but this is what I mean. It's brilliant stuff between these two. Even coming to blows, they managed to keep the car in the right direction and not lose too much time from it.
Because they're pros. This is like rugby players.
Yeah.
They know it's part of the game and they're just getting on with it.
Look how Farfus didn't go all the way to the edge of the track before turning into turn 8. So it's great. They're like, it's almost like they're reading each other's minds in this situation. You know, as the car in front, what you would do if you were the car behind, and vice versa. So, yeah, once again, that tight line going into turn 10. But that, it gives him a bad exit. Look, and he knows it, and he's pushing him all the way to the edge of the track, to the point where Juncadella can't do anything about it. So gets a few more aggressive flashes.
Door open very nicely there for Kubica, but now Honkadea throws it up the inside into turn 11, but it's going to leave him slow up the hill, and Farfus comes back.
He's saying, that's P1 for me, mate.
Yes, indeed.
Out the window.
Is it Daytona all over again?
It's the Tommy Milner salute.
It is.
I didn't know you could.
And by the way,
how did he get his arm out the window?
And by the way, that was with Augusto.
Special arm.
And that was with Augusto Farfus as well.
It was indeed.
Must be like deja vu.
It's a special arm fitted to Corvette windows that you pull a little string and it flaps out.
Let's hope he doesn't make the same offer on T-shirts that nearly bankrupted Tommy.
Smiles from the boys at TS.